as I do every year, I looked back and found some games I missed. Good or bad, maybe you missed these games too. Simple enough, right? I divided this retrospective on 2021 into 3 parts. Part 1 is based on PS4 and PS5 games, so let's dive in. First, we have Anodyne 2, which is a split game. You assume the role of what is essentially a dream warrior. They will run around a 3D world that looks like it was crafted during the PS1 era. That's a compliment because it actually looks authentically rad. Once you find an NPC in need, you then need to shoot them to be granted access into their collective unconsciousness. There's a cloud of evil dust going around and infecting the world. The only way to cure people is by jumping into their souls, so to speak. It's then the game turns into a Super Nintendo-like top-down puzzle action game, similar, to The Legend of Zelda. This retro style is how the first game was presented. It's an interesting idea that is fun, but may get old fast. Next we have Blightbound, which is a 3-player co-op RPG. It's a throwback to the Gauntlet days of party-based RPGs. It's very simplistic in terms of its story mechanics. You are going to have to grind to progress, which involves leveling up and looking for the best gear. It is repetitive, in other words. However, if you can get the right group together, it can be a blast. Alone is okay too. The computer will assist you with 2 AI-controlled characters, and their teamwork is decent enough, especially when you die. Alone or with friends, it can all look a bit chaotic though. Now, Children of Morta got a few new patches along with some DLC this year. The 2 biggest ones include a new character, Yajomojo, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who is an ancient one. The other is a separate mode and the only way that you can play Yajomojo. This mode is essentially a true roguelike. Choose a character, survive the dungeons as long as possible. Repeat. For co-op, this would have been a fun additional mode at launch, or even a year later. It feels a little too late now on top of this mode defeating what made the original campaign so special. Heart. Also, the lack of progression is troubling. The new character is not the best either. It's nice that the developers are still working on this game, and it is still one of my favorite roguelikes ever, let alone one of my favorite games overall. However, I don't think this is going to bring a lot of fans back. I'm more interested in seeing what this team does next. Finally, we have Xuan Yuan Sword 7. Now, this is an RPG series that dates back to 1990. Most of these games have remained in obscurity because they were never brought over. Even though they're all based on Chinese mythology, they are made in Taiwan. Now, at long last, the latest game has crossed over and just a year after its original debut. Xuan Yuan Sword 7, again, another name that I don't know if I'm saying correctly, is an action RPG with all of the modern trappings. There's an open world, side quests, fast travel, skill trees, and plenty of monsters to fight. You can even gain party members as the game goes on. While it has a lot of cool stuff, Xuan Yuan Sword 7 lacks a soul. It felt like an RPG by the numbers, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just hard to get engaged by the story and combat. And that's it for part 1. Join me again as I look at some Nintendo Switch games that you probably also missed.
Did you like that video? If you did, please like, subscribe, and spread the good word of ReActionExaminer. If you want to read more of my stuff, you can find a plethora of my articles over at TheGamer and Game Rant. All of those links and more are in the show notes below. Thanks for watching!